Today, I am so delighted that we are able to bring to you the Legacies of Women Forum. We call it Legacies because what we're trying to do is to give a gift, the legacy of expertise and knowledge that these women have earned on their way up to the top. The women that you are meeting today have really broken through a very tough glass ceiling. So join me in getting to meet them. The next female achiever I would like to present to you is Mexican-born. Maria de Lourdes Sobrino is the founder and CEO of a company called Lulu's Dessert. At some point, she went to the United States, and she started a business, and she began with trying to just produce 300 cups a day, and now it has become a multi-million-dollar business based in California. She is now an industry leader in ready-to-eat desserts, and recently she published a book. It's called Thriving Latina Entrepreneurs in America, in which she features Latina entrepreneurs like herself who have done very, very well. So please welcome Lulu Sobrino. When did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
I was very young. I was 18 years old, actually. And the first business that I started was exactly with flowers, a flower shop. And the first person that I employed was my mom. I had a fear, in my family, that if anything happened to my family, what would happen to my mom and my sisters and brother? We're 5, and I'm the oldest of 5.
What's the next business after the flower business?
The next step was the tourism business, and I was one of the grand opening at the Fiesta Palace Hotel at that time, here in Reforma. My customers actually were asking, why don't you organize my convention in Ixtapa or Cancun? Why don't you take us to the United States? Why don't you take us to Las Vegas and San Francisco and all these cities? So actually my customers were pushing me, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? So that's what I took the challenge of doing new things. And part of my dream also, as a young girl, it was, I wish one day I can live in the United States. But that was just in my mind. Well, why don't I use the excuse of my company, and then I opened a branch in California, and from there I was going back and forth for a few months. But unfortunately, the devaluation of the peso that we had in 1982, completely took my project to another level. One day, it was a Sunday, I wanted to eat one of these gelatin desserts that is a tradition to eat here in Mexico. And I couldn't find it in any store, so I said, well, I'm going to go to Tijuana, buy the ingredients, go from there, and I could start giving it to some neighbors. So I gave them the 3-layer gelatin. That's how everything started. And from there, he said, why don't you start a business like this? I said, gelatina, food industry, I don't have no idea what you're talking about. So as we all, Mexicanos, we think about, let's put the tiendita, next door. And that's what I did. I put my savings in a tiendita, and I was ready to quit 3 months later because nobody understood the concept of gelatin ready to eat. So I said, well, if customers don't come to me, why don't I go and look for my customers? And so I started putting my gelatin in a little cup, my 3-layer gelatin, and I said, where can I find some Mexicans here in Los Angeles? Because I didn't understand. I mean, we're talking about 26 years ago, okay? I mean, it's not today.
Marketing. How did you scale up from, producing at a small level to then, making production at a larger level?
When you start having good problems, there are sales. A few months later, some supermarkets at that time, were looking, and they were going to small stores to find what kind of food are Hispanics buying, because at that time you could only find tortillas and salsa. I was at the right time, when the Hispanic market was growing. And so I started with my gelatinas, and my customers said, I want 1,000 cases of your product. I said, are you crazy? Do you know how much time? But then you start thinking, when you really have a customer say, so you want the order or you don't want it? I said, let me try. There was no internet at that time. It was everything knocking the door and finding, people information. What do you do? When you're new in a country, you don't have friends, you don't have relatives. That is the scary part. I follow my heart, honestly.
Okay.
I follow my intuition. We have a sixth sense here that I always use it and it works for me, you know, and it's all there. You know, I just use common sense.
Lulu Sobrino.
Thank you.